This is eCoffee with Experts, where marketers and founders share what's actually working in SEO, AI, and digital growth. Grab your coffee and fuel your mind as we chat with top minds about their wins, struggles, and lessons you won't find in a blog post. Brought to you by Digital Web Solutions, we bring real talk to help you grow your business, one episode at a time. Let's get started.
Hey, hi everyone. Welcome to your show, eCoffee with Experts. This is your host, Ranmay here. And today we have Will Newland, who is the founder and managing director of SoBold, a London-based high-performance WordPress design and development agency with us. Hey, Will, how's it going?
Good. Hi, Ranmay. Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited to have a bit of a catch up with you and talk all things design, dev, and what's going on in the world.
Lovely, Will. Before we take this any forward, why did you talk us through your journey a bit, how it all started, how were you in your growing up days, and also about your agency, what are your core offerings, what you guys do, and then we'll take it off from there. Let's start with your journey.
Awesome. Yeah. So I started the business in 2014, so 11 years ago. And unlike a lot of other people who start their business, it kind of just fell on my lap. I didn't go out to start a business. I was working as a freelance marketeer, and I got a few opportunities that came through, and they asked me to help with their web build. And at that stage, it was very, very new to companies as having websites and stuff like that. And I worked closely with a few of these small businesses, managing their sort of tender process and working with the supplier. And I realized that actually what I could do was probably a lot better than a lot of these suppliers. A lot of it was down to communication. So could I communicate better than these suppliers to ultimately give a better customer service to these clients? And the answer was yes. On my sort of fourth project that came along, rather than say, yes, I'll get a supplier, I just hired in a sort of a low-level dev, a junior dev, and instructed him on what to do. And I obviously maintained my client side facing, making sure that they got a great service. And then from there, it sort of snowballed and we got more clients and we grew. And now we are a team of 25 people with 2 different offices across Europe and thriving, growing team. So it's been a cool journey, and one that I feel like came about due to prioritizing communication and the importance of customer satisfaction and client satisfaction.
Lovely. This is very rare to listen from founders these days talking about communication. We are talking about a lot of tech, AI involvement, which is there, yes, but still client communication is one of the, kind of crux of how it is being communicated. Things might work, might not work, but still communication kind of remains the crux of it. Talking about client satisfaction, Will, what are some of the retention strategies, that you would have used at your agency to ensure that the clients stick around for longer?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So our client retention is outstanding. I mean, really, when someone comes in, they come in typically through a new website. So they come to us, ask for us for our help with either designing and building a website or building a website. And we put a lot of emphasis on that side of things to make sure that, as I said, that communication and that delivery is second to none. We don't front load it with trying to get them to agree to a sort of a retainer beyond that. We just trust in our ability to deliver on that solution. And when you get to the end of the solution, it's also important to know that what we're trying to do is create websites that put as much power as possible in the client's hands. And that's a very different model to a lot of other website development agencies, whereby they do the complete opposite. They build them a website that they can't really grow with. It's not very flexible. They have to come to the agency for change requests, and it's all a bit clunky and it's all a bit, they're trying to get the short-term gain of, short-term financial gain, knowing they're going to come back to you. Whereas we flipped it on its head and thought, actually, if we give them as much power as possible to do as much as possible and give them the training included within that cost and give them the manual sort of and videos and everything they can do, then if they scale that website, they're going to come to us for more technical things. So what we tried to do is wait till we've delivered the website to them, given them the tools to be able to grow it. And then we get a feel quite quickly how much support they're going to need. Every business is different. Every client is different. Some need a lot of hand holding, despite having all of that manual and help. Others can just go and do it, but they all scale at different rates as well. So for us, the ability in our early days to be as flexible as possible. And, we grew our client base very quickly to say, just around 100 clients. And we knew that in any given month,
Hmm.
15 clients might come and go to us for changes and
Hmm.
updates to their websites. And they love that sort of flexible nature. Now, don't get me wrong.
Hmm.
Obviously, as you scale, there needs to be some sort of stickiness and flow for that. But what we try and
Yeah.
do is build that relationship on actually what does this client need, rather than sell them some sort of block of hours that doesn't work for them. Some people might
Hmm.
want to have design time and dev time. Others might
Yeah.
just want dev time. Some people might have lots of big jobs that they want to quote up on a project by project basis. So our approach to everything is completely bespoke for every client, and we want to get to know them, get to feel them, get to understand what they want, and go from there.
Lovely. And now scaling it up to 100 clients, right? What
Yeah.
has been the hardest or the most difficult business lesson you learned while scaling SoBold? And, how did it kind of changed or shaped your leadership approach?
Yeah, well, when I said the 100 clients, then probably our biggest change was then scaling down to a different client base. So as we grew, we were building sort of very much brochure websites for small businesses
Hmm.
and pretty low key
Hmm.
sites, and we had quite a high volume of them. When we got to an established stage, we wanted to do the opposite. So we wanted to have less and have more bigger enterprise complex solutions that we were building. So I'd say one of our biggest challenges was trying to move away from our legacy clients that we had built the foundation of our business on,
Yeah.
and moving into
Right.
a world whereby we're talking a different language with these enterprise businesses who have different requirements, and the volume is
Uh-huh.
much less.
Right.
So
Right.
that was a struggle. And of course, businesses, we've been going for almost 12 years now, and businesses are very cyclical with staff as well. So the staff that you have when you have sort of a high volume of small businesses is very different to the staff that you need to deliver for enterprise businesses. So that side
Absolutely.
it has been something that's difficult as well.
So focus becomes very important here, during these sort of transitions, right? Because, you started with working with a certain set of clients who help you keep the lights on, help you grow, scale, achieve
Yeah.
numbers, right? So now when you've decided, okay, you got to make that shift. So how do you kind of decide which clients not to take, or what signals tell you that, okay, this lead is not enterprise ready now?
Yeah. Yeah. So the first part of the question is it was very difficult. Very difficult to
I
the
would
other
imagine,
thing
yeah.
with legacy clients, right, is you feel them in your heart because they
Yes.
help you when you were so early on, and you have this, they're in your heart, and you can't do
Yeah.
business with those sort of clients whereby you're willing to, we go the extra mile for our clients, but it would get to the point where it was stupid, and we are doing far too much for them, and then they become a little bit expectant that they want more, and it for free and all of that. And so fortunately for us, it came to quite a nice evolution point whereby it was quite obvious when we put up our prices a little bit that a lot of these smaller clients were going to fall by the wayside. But I made sure that I did it in a non-abrasive way, to the point earlier that I said about communication, gave them a heads up, plenty of advance warning of what was going on. And actually, I recommended them new suppliers on the most part. And
Hmm.
because they trusted me, they trusted my recommendation. And actually, I know that they were going into a good home as well. So that was the first part of the question. And the second part now around like leads and making sure that they are qualified leads. I am still very involved in the business myself, in the delivery team.
Okay.
And I am my sole role is new business, right?
Hmm.
So I make sure I qualify all the leads, and it's fairly clear once you've had a few conversations as to what they're after, and you can determine it quite easily. And a lot of them you look at and go, we would love this. They're not quite enterprise, but we'd like this for our business because we've got a gap of resource in our dev team, and I can win this really easily. But you have to be firm,
Yeah.
because those clients are the ones that long term are going to impact you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, taking those hard decisions, at times, saying no to revenue, it becomes difficult, but you need to look at the long term, allocation of resources from a dev standpoint, and not just say a
100%.
yes for a mean. Yeah. for a
for a
stopgap
quick fix.
arrangement. Yeah.
Yeah. Ranmay, I'll tell you, one of our best clients now, we started working with them in 2019 and they were a startup. They were owned by a VC and they were a startup with a very, very small budget. And they came to us and needed a website. Again, they would have fit in that bucket of, small business, could have come to nothing. And we built such a good relationship with them. And now they buy over 100 days of resource off us each month. So if you think about that journey, we're with them 10 years, well, 7 years later, they've scaled globally. They're now a global business and they feel that we are an extension of their own team. And that's how we want every single one of our clients to feel.
Very nice. Very nice. Now, coming to the core part of it, as LLMs and generative search kind of are reshaping discovery, how are you helping your enterprise clients or, let's say your clients, being future proof with their websites for AI driven visibility?
Yeah, well, we're doing a lot. About a year ago, maybe slightly less, about 7 or 8 months ago, we were getting pitches come in and requests for proposals coming into us, and they seem to kind of start to pick up the whole, we need to be optimized for LLMs, and how can you help us? How can you ensure that this is part of the process? And throughout all of our build projects, our SEO team are pretty heavily involved in the design and the development phase from a technical perspective. But this trend starting 7 months ago has been very, very, very prevalent in basically every single pitch that we do. And we're making sure that firstly, our SEO team and our dev team are well versed about, the trends of what's going on in LLMs and making sure that everything is very, very measurable. And we've built our own internal systems, which have been very, very helpful to be able to do that and to be able to give our clients awareness on, before working with us, on how well they're doing across chat, Claude, Perplexity, Gemini, but then taking it a step further and doing the keyword research about what they want to be more present on, and then making sure that that is heavily involved throughout all our design and development decisions. And sort of that's, I guess, one of our USPs is that we are pulling together internally, we are pulling together delivery team who have awareness on the client's goals and needs, design team who are, designing the architecture for users, but also for search engines and LLMs, developers who are then going to build it technically. And this is all baked in with the knowledge of the SEO team who have regular catch-ups throughout these projects, making sure that they are covered. But it is something that has been exceptionally prominent in our business over the last, as I said, about 7 or 8 months. And clients need assurances that we are going to be building solutions for them that are going to help their visibility. And again, when we talk about this, this longer term relationship approach that we have, we would make sure beyond the build, we'd be reporting on the success of the website from a search perspective and from a LLM perspective. And again, it's like bringing further ideas to the table and sort of holding their hand and doing the education process along the way.
And you mentioned a very important point about, the clients reporting and clients being informed about this, right? What has changed, as per you from a client standpoint? We talk about these SEO projects day in, day out. So the clients are, any which is on top of it in terms of the progress from LLM visibility and stuff. But clients who are building websites, how has you been able to see the shift in terms of how it was earlier when it was just the search engines to now, they are trying to kind of ensure they're visible on different LLMs. How has the expectations changed from then till now?
I mean, I would say that it's changed a crazy amount, and the importance of LLMs is almost surpassing the importance of search, really, in a lot of these marketing teams. And I think a lot of it is driven by more senior members of their businesses who have spoken to people in other businesses who have good awareness on LLMs. And I think it's very much like you have these partners at these businesses and they might not necessarily understand LLM optimization, but they need to know because business A over here has got much better visibility than us. How do we get it? We need it. We want it more. And it's very much like when I told you at the start of this call about when I started the business in 2014, I was doing a lot of work on Twitter, and Twitter had just come about, and it's almost identical, and it's almost identical to the website trend where they're like, I don't really know, I don't really understand, I don't really want to understand, but you need to deliver on this for us so that we can say that we're doing this. Do you find the same?
Absolutely. I mean, clients have gone really real crazy about them showing up on different LLMs and different AI platforms. Now, the reality of it is, a lot of businesses that we work in the category that we work in, their end users are not even searching them on different LLMs. Okay, there are these niches wherein the search still happens on different search engines there, right? But even then, look at the craziness of all the AI evolution that is happening all around. Business owners still want to kind of ensure that their business is showing up, and they're more worried about their business showing up on different LLMs, even if their consumer base is not there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's a funny side of it. But yes,
It's the
there
ego
has been a
side.
lot of change. Monthly progress reports, they want to see not only their Google rankings or search engine rankings, they want to see, where are they, what has been the movement. Then they're so much worried about, the brand mentions now. Links are becoming more critical. So yeah, so the movement is there for sure. And I'm glad, that the fact that the awareness is there. At times I feel that, for certain niches, it has gone to overboard, while the consumer base is still pretty
I agree.
traditional, but sorry, go ahead.
We've managed to build our own Claude Code project setup whereby a lot of the time we work to uncover their visibility across all of the different LLMs. And again, that is something that we probably spent 6 months building, but now it means that, we can give that snapshot. We can compare you to your competitors. We can easily outline the quick technical fixes that could improve things. And again, as you said, a lot of them are very similar to, to fixes and improvement for search. It's just sort of slightly configured slightly differently, but people have gone in and have this obsession with, we need to optimize for LLMs. Well, actually, you need a quality website, you need quality content, you need a quality strategy around it, you need a quality design. It all ultimately is underpinned by quality. And it's the same thing when you talk about content and people producing AI content, and does it rank? Is it going to be penalized in search? Well, it depends. If you've got quality content and a quality strategy that is giving value add to users, then you're going to be fine.
Absolutely. Now we're almost ending 2025, right? What are your bets on 2026? How is the market gonna be in terms of from a digital marketing industry perspective?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting. I think there's going to be a lot of change. If you'd probably asked me 3 or 4 months ago, I would have said there's going to be changes, but I don't know how much it's going to affect the digital marketing industry. But I actually think now it's going to be quite a lot of change, and I think it's going to be rocked a little bit. To be honest, I think we're going to move into a new era, and I think that people collectively need to be able to offer more value than just a linear approach to things. And they need to think outside of the box and be more effective and efficient in how they are thinking. And I think that those that embrace that will be absolutely okay, and they will thrive next year. But I think that those that don't could struggle.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you so much for the wonderful insights you have shared with us today. And really, thank you. Thanks a ton for taking out time to do this with us. Really appreciate it, man. And for our audiences, if they want to reach out to you, how would they do that?
Yeah, just I'm sure you'll be able to post my LinkedIn profile. Just reach out through my LinkedIn. I'm always on that. So yeah, and I'll be always responsive and happy to help anyone with any questions they've got.
Perfect, Will. Thank you so much once again, man. Cheers.
Cheers, Ranmay.